guys, so if you missed my bullet journal video because you're just not interested in that, completely understand. We have another snow day today. So last night I filmed my bullet journal video. I went through kind of my January spread, how I filled it out, and what I changed for February. So if you want to check that out, that should be up before this video. So we're having another snow day, which means I don't have to go to work today and the kids don't have to go to school. And I was going to get up and get dressed and film this video for you guys, but you know what? It's cold out. I'm going to put in a clip to show you kind of what it looks like outside. It is not the worst we've ever got, but it's definitely the first real snowstorm. It's been like a snow ice mix. It's gross outside, and I don't plan on going anywhere. So I'm just going to stay in my pajamas, drink my coffee, and talk to you about books today. So I hope you are relaxed, and you know what, if you're in your pajamas right along with me, that's even better, because we all know I'm pretty relaxed here on this channel. On the month of January 2020, I have read 9 books. Now my reading is going to slow down a little bit just because I am working. I'm balancing the kids in the home and trying to keep up with YouTube and sports. So my reading isn't as strong until probably May, and then it'll pick back up again. But usually January to April, things are just a little bit hectic for me, and I'm not able to read as much as I am the rest of the year. I have accomplished 8 Romance-opoly spaces here. So out of the 9 books, 8 of those qualified for Romance-opoly spaces, so we're doing pretty good with Romance-opoly. 4 of those books were audio, 4 were ebooks, and 1 was a physical book. And then 4 of those I got off of Kindle Unlimited, so I'm definitely accessing my Kindle Unlimited. Library, I used 2 from the library, 1 off of my physical bookshelf, and then 2 Kindle ebooks that I already had that were not on my Kindle Unlimited. So my goal this year is to not buy any books, and I want to try to dwindle down my physical bookshelf and my ebook bookshelf, I guess. The first book that I finished in the month of January was Wallflower Gone Wild by Maya Rodell. This is a historical romance. It is about a woman named Olive. She is on her last year of this school. I don't know what the technical term is. I'm not a huge historical romance reader, so I don't know the terminology for everything yet. I have a hard time finding historical romance that I genuinely enjoy, but she's on her last year of school, and if she does not find a husband, then she is going to be considered a spinster, and you know, that's kind of that. Everybody sees her as like this uppity, prissy woman. Her nickname is actually Prissy Missy, so she is just, you know, the men just aren't interested because she seems to be just too uptight, too perfect, and too generic almost. And then her father accepts a proposal from the Mad Baron, and the Mad Baron is a man known for his anger and bad reputation, pretty much. He does not have a good reputation. There's rumors running that he killed his first wife, and she's obviously like, I don't think so. I am not going to marry this guy. You are not going to, I'd rather be a spinster. I don't think so. And it just kind of goes from there, and I'm not going to go too much into it. You guys know I don't like to, you know, dive too deep into books when I'm telling you about them, because I don't want to spoil anything. I feel like sometimes people go into a story pretty heavily, and then you're just like, well, now I don't really need to even read it because you pretty much just told me everything that was going to happen, and that frustrates me. So I'm just going to give you a little taste of what it is and let you know that I did give that one 4 stars, and being a person that doesn't read a lot of historical romance, that's pretty good for me. Granted, I did listen to this on audio, so it might be a little different reading it instead of listening. And that tackled Courtship Row for me on Romance-opoly. I picked up Naked in Death by J.D. Robb next, also known as Nora Roberts. I enjoy Nora Roberts' writing. I have several on my bookshelf. I've read several of her books. I enjoy it. This one, however, just wasn't it for me. This was a romantic thriller I'm going to say more of a romantic mystery than anything. It was for Romanceopoly. I had to read a book for Sleuth Street that had a word in it that related to death. Obviously, naked in death would be the word death as my word. So that's why I grabbed it. Plus, one of the people that runs Romanceopoly recommended it, and this is like a huge long series. This is the first book. I gave this one 2 stars, guys. I did not love it. It is a very futuristic type of detective story. The female detective is trying to solve why these prostitutes are being murdered, and of course her primary suspect is someone she is attracted to, and it tries to trip you up and trick you, but I pretty much had it figured out pretty quickly. I did a lot of skimming. I'm not going to even lie to you guys. I did not enjoy it. But again, mystery, thriller, suspense is another genre that I am just hard to please when it comes to those types of books. So definitely just take that with a grain of salt. If you enjoy futuristic detective romance books, you may absolutely love it. I know a lot of people that do love it. It wasn't for me. The next book I grabbed was Hate Notes by V. Keeland and Penelope Ward. This was a Kindle Unlimited audio book. I gave it 4 stars. This is about, I don't even know how to explain this. This was for Romanceopoly, the office space, and I had to read a book that a relationship started in the workplace. So you have this woman, her life is pretty much falling apart. It's not going how she expected it. And she decides, you know what, I'm going to go tour this penthouse that I'm never in my life going to afford. So this guy, the realtor showing the penthouse, is just like, your resume was ridiculous. I had to meet you because it was so ridiculous. And basically embarrasses her for, just trying to, I guess, dream a little bit. And she also runs into someone else who offers her a job, and it's like her dream job almost. Too good to be true kind of situation. And they end up working together, and it just kind of goes from there. Again, very vague, but I loved it. It was super cute, and I'm excited to pick up some more books by V. Keeland and Penelope Ward. They have a lot. And I loved it. Like, I absolutely loved it. For Ravished Romance on Instagram, it was The Forbidden Man. This is a sports romance, age gap, workplace type of romance. I don't know. Honestly, guys, I gave this one 3 stars. I did read it on ebook. It was just way too long for what it was. I feel like they could have had that story more condensed, and I probably would have enjoyed it more, because I was enjoying it up until about the halfway point. And that's when I was just like, okay, can we move the story on a little bit? But you've got an older woman. I believe she's in like her 40s. She's a sports therapist. She works with guys that play soccer, trying to, fix their injuries after a game. And she meets this younger guy, but he is on the team she is supposed to be working for, and that becomes, a forbidden situation. The age gap really isn't a huge deal in the book. It's more focused on the forbidden aspect of, their colleagues. They shouldn't be in that sort of a relationship. And it just kind of goes from there. But like I said, I feel like that one just drug on so much that I just didn't enjoy it, like the second half, because of it. And I read that for the age gap space, which was Amour Avenue. I had to read an age gap romance. so I just qualified that one as age gap. I don't know. I'm kind of making my own rules when it comes to Romanceopoly. Next up, I picked up Dirty Letters by V. Keeland and Penelope Ward. Again, this was a Kindle Unlimited audio. I gave this one 5 stars. I loved this one. This is about 2 people who were kids when they met. They were pen pals, and one lived in England, the other one lives in the United States, and then something tragic happens to one of the characters and they stop communicating. Then all of a sudden a letter shows up and that communication starts back up again, and it just kind of goes from there on how they kind of make things work with how they are as adults, because both of them are struggling with something that really would make the relationship almost impossible. And that's kind of all that I can say without giving too much away. But again, I gave this one 5 stars. I adored this one. And I put that as one of my free spaces for Romanceopoly. But if you're doing the Moon Pack, that would actually qualify for, I think, the post office. But I'm doing the Sun Pack, so it didn't work for me. I then grabbed Ensnared by J.S. Scott. I read a J.S. Scott book years ago and loved it. This one I listened to on Kindle Unlimited Audio, and I gave it 3.5 stars. It was okay. It was a spinoff of one of the series that I used to read by her that I loved and adored, but I just did not like the spinoff series as much. I'm not really going to go much into it other than saying it was a family, you know, the spinoff series is based on a family that didn't know their biological father was wealthy until after he passed away, and then all of a sudden they inherit this money and they don't know how or what to do with it. Then I was excited because I got my hands on Love Her or Lose Her by Tessa Bailey. This is book 2 in her series. I did not read the first one because I'm a little hesitant, but after reading this one, I think I am going to go back and read book 1 if I can ever get my hands on it, because like I said, I'm not allowed to buy any books this year. It's not on Kindle Unlimited and my library doesn't have it, so I'm going to have to request it, and I think I'm just going to wait till the summer to do it. But I gave this one 4 stars, and I loved it so much. Dominic is a very man's man. He believes his job as the man is to be the provider, the protector, and that's that. Like, communication isn't a thing. And of course then you have his wife who, you know, she wants that communication. She really needs that communication, and there's just some issues in their marriage. Over time, you know, we all have our own love languages, and we, you know, need to take time to figure out what those love languages are. And through this book, you watch them go to counseling. You really see them kind of struggle to figure out if their marriage is going to survive, and kind of what not only, you know, at first you see what her point of view, but then you start to see his, and you realize that both parties are kind of in the wrong somewhere. And that, again, is all that I'm going to say. I will tell you, though, this one is spicy. So if you don't like that very, you know, kind of rated R talk, probably not the book for you. I'd probably skip that one. But if you don't mind the spicy, it was cute. It was good. I enjoyed it. I don't know, most of the men in my world are very similar to Dominic. The next one I grabbed was The Winter Lodge by Susan Wiggs. I gave this one 2 stars. This was my physical book. I read it because it was the winter challenge. You had to read something like with a wintry cover, blue, silver, snow. You know, you could interpret that however you wanted. With the word winter on the cover, however you want to interpret it. I kind of hit all of the marks with this particular book, which is why I grabbed it off of my bookshelf. 2 stars for this one, guys. I was bored out of my mind. In the synopsis, it made me believe that the book was going to be about these 2 characters that get stranded in a lodge for the winter, and they're kind of stuck there, and, you know, the relationship blooms from there. You don't get to that point in the story until like the last couple of chapters. So you're 75% in before you even get to that part. So I was like, okay, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I'm not interested in any of this. whatsoever. So I gave that one 2 stars. And the last one that I read for the month of January was Bourbon Love Notes, and this one was really cute. It is by Sherry J. Ryan, and I gave it 4 stars. I'm going to say probably more of 4.5 stars. I really did like it. It wasn't a full 5 because there were some things in it that I was like, oh, I wish you would have touched more on that as well. And I don't know. There was just some parts with the male character that I would have liked to know more about. And I know, again, very vague, but you guys know I don't like to go too much into it. This is one of those stories where, you know, they fall in love as teenagers and then life kind of takes them in separate directions, and 10 years later they meet up under circumstances that aren't the greatest. I will say this has parent death in it due to cancer, so if that is an issue for you, the whole story pretty much revolves around that until about halfway through. So it made me cry. Like, I was fighting back tears and I was just an emotional hot mess, but it was really good. It was one of those sad ones that, you know, you kind of relate to, and it was just really good. I'm definitely looking forward to the second book in this series. I think it goes into her sister's relationship, and I don't know. There was just like these little cutesy things in there. Again, I wish I would have known more about the male character, but he also has a little girl, and the little girl is just this quirky little girl that you fall in love with as well, and it is cute. I have come to find I like single dad romances. There's just things that I like, and this kind of hit all of those marks for me. So yeah, that is all of the books. I will go over really quickly the 2 movies, I guess, that I watched. I finished The Witcher, at least what they have up on Netflix. Gave that one 4 stars. It is on my favorites reel in my bullet journal here. So that's one of the ones that I want to remember for the year. And then I took the kids to see Spy in Disguise in the theater. Gave that one 3 stars. Honestly, it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't terrible. Probably not one we're going to worry about buying. My kids haven't talked about it since. So it's kind of one of those mediocre ones that, you know, it was just okay. But yeah, that's everything, guys. I talked your ear off for probably over 20 minutes. This is probably the longest I've talked to you. I try to keep these pretty short, but I think I'm going to, you know, just talk, and, you know, some of them I'll try to condense, and some of them I think we're just going to sit down and, you know, just chat about. So these book reviews will probably be a little bit longer, something you might want to just turn on and listen to when you're cleaning, or, you know, like I do at night, I'll put it on my TV and then I will just, you know, take care of things and kind of listen to it in the background. But yeah, guys, my reading is going to slow down a little bit, so they might not be as long the next couple of months. But yeah, that's going to be it for me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!